Stop. You haven't subscribed to the channel yet. Subscribe now. We have new stories every day. Now, let's go. I open the closet in the hallway and pull out a plain cardboard box. It's heavier than I remember. Dust clings to the flaps, as though it's been waiting in silence for this very moment. Inside are fragments of her life. Sweaters she left behind last week, a shoe with a broken heel she meant to throw away, and a small bundle of photographs she once cherished. My hand hovers, reluctant, but I've come this far. I slide the lid off and begin setting each object on the kitchen table. No ceremony, no words, just me and the hush of realization that nothing is as it was. I didn't used to rummage through my wife's things. Once upon a time, there was trust, enough of it that I never even considered looking. But everything is different now. I handle the sweater, a soft teal cardigan she wore to a dinner last month. The memory stings. She laughed with me that evening, looking radiant. Now, it feels like a relic from a stranger. I place her shoes to the side. Then I notice a folder, one of those cheap manila ones you find in office supply stores. The edges are frayed. Something about it feels out of place. I set the folder down gently, like it might explode in my face. Time was, I would have pried it open right away. But I've learned to be silent first. These days, I hold my breath, forcing the anger to simmer under the surface, waiting. I've grown used to the sense that everything I touch is rigged with emotional explosives, so I let the tension build. Then I click send. The email leaves my outbox with a whoosh. It's addressed to my friend at the lab, confirming everything we discovered, everything that shattered any illusions I had left. I close my laptop. There's no turning back now. I'm Michael Donovan, 42 years old, an investigative journalist. I'm good at uncovering secrets, so I suppose it's poetic that my own personal life was the biggest secret of all, at least for a while. When I first saw the text message on her phone, I told myself it was a misunderstanding. A friend from work, maybe. A colleague from the real estate office. After all, she's social. She's friendly. She's Rachel. Except it wasn't friendly. It was intimate. Suggestive. And I'd done enough investigating of my own to confirm what the message spelled out. But the final blow wasn't the text. It was the paternity test. There's no easy way to say it. The child wasn't mine. We don't have children, so the child in question was hypothetical. An idea she and I had begun to talk about more seriously. Then I found out she'd tested some results behind my back. She said it was just routine, but I knew better. I confronted her, quietly at first. She tried to smile it away. I asked more questions. Then she broke, in tears, revealing the worst. It was a mistake, she said. I pressed her. Who is he? She wouldn't answer at first, but I know her tells. The stammer, the slight shake of her head, the refusal to meet my eyes. That was when I discovered the name Eric Johnson. We argued. Actually, we did more than argue. We fought. Words spat out like bullets. I tried to remain calm, but I felt my heart pounding, my breath turning ragged, as if I'd run a marathon without warming up. She shouted back, tears and frustration. We circled the living room like boxers in a ring, each of us waiting to see who would break first. The part that lodged in my mind most painfully was a text I saw from him, archived in her phone. Best evening of my life. The comment that destroyed me, even more than the knowledge of her affair, because it wasn't just physical. There was something deeper, something personal, intimate, as if they'd shared a secret language I was excluded from. And so, here I am, about to tear down every semblance of normal life we had. The folder on the kitchen table is stuffed with notes I've made, a record of everything I uncovered. Emails, hotel bills, conversations, all the threads leading back to Eric. I'm no saint either. I should have walked away. Should have boarded that train ticket I foolishly purchased in a haze of desperation. Just leave it all behind. But I stayed, because I wanted closure. Or maybe I wanted revenge. I sift through each item. There's a photograph of Rachel and me, taken at a beach in Massachusetts during a trip to see her family. She looks radiant, flashing that wide smile. I look proud. Content. When I found this photo in the drawer next to her real estate pamphlets, it felt like a punch to the gut. Because behind that smile, she'd already begun her affair. I set the photograph aside. My phone buzzes. A text from an unknown number. "We need to talk. Eric." I place the phone face down. The tension inside me is close to boiling. No matter how much I try to maintain composure, there's a dryness in my throat that I can't swallow away. I first saw him by accident, across the street from our house. He stood near a sleek black car, phone in hand, wearing a tailored suit. Too well-groomed, too self-assured. I remember the supple cock of his head as he glanced at our living room window. At first, I thought he was just a client of hers, waiting to discuss some property. She told me she had a new client from out of town, a marketing consultant. But the second I caught his gaze, I felt a chill. His eyes flicked away, like he knew me before I even knew him. That same evening, I found her phone on the kitchen counter. She'd left it unlocked in a rush, and the screen was lit with a text from Eric. Something along the lines of how he couldn't stop thinking about their moment. My heart pounded so hard I thought it might break my ribs. That was the first time I realized I was living in the dark about my own marriage. But let me be clear, the physical aspect of the affair stings. Yes, but it's the emotional betrayal that's gnawing at me like a disease. Because I know my wife. Or I thought I did. She's not the type to cheat for cheap thrills. If she's strayed, there's a deeper meaning. The worst part, I can't even figure out if I ever truly knew her. Back in the kitchen, I tossed the last item. A stray lipstick from her purse, into the box. I feel my chest tighten as I remember a single smear of that lipstick on a shirt collar that wasn't mine. I'd found that shirt in our laundry hamper weeks ago. She tried to hide it under the whites, but it bled through in my mind like neon. Another sign that something was irreparably broken. Suddenly, there's a knock at the door. I freeze, half hoping it's just a delivery. But the second knock is more insistent. A heavier hand. I walk over, open it. Eric stands there, eyes fixed on me. No tie today, just a dark button-down and slacks. He looks as though he's stepping into a board meeting, not into the home of the man he betrayed. For a moment, neither of us speaks. Then he tries to smile, but it's strained. "Michael," he begins, voice low. I don't invite him in. "What do you want?" He glances at the box on the table behind me. "I need to see Rachel." "Is she here?" "She's at work. And even if she wasn't, you have no reason to be here." He hesitates. "I think we all have reason to talk. This can't go on." My hand grips the doorframe so tightly my knuckles go white. My anger flares. Briefly, I imagine punching him. But I exhale slowly, controlling the impulse. I step aside, surprising even myself. He enters. We move to the living room. He stands near the window, looking uneasy. For a moment, I see the reflection of a man who might be regretting his choices. He glances around, noticing the photos on the mantel. Rachel and I at our wedding. Me with my siblings, Rachel's father hugging her in a graduation gown. A life he's barged into. I remain standing. "Talk," I say, voice as calm as I can manage. Eric folds his arms. "I didn't come here to provoke you. I came because what's happening has gone too far. She's in a terrible place. Michael, you two are tearing each other apart." The nerve. The absolute nerve to frame himself as some mediator. I feel my mouth go dry. I manage to remain still, though my heart is pounding. He continues. "She told me about the test results." "She did?" "Yes," he says quietly. "Look, I never intended for it to." I cut him off. Don't say you never intended. You planned it. You seduced her, or maybe she seduced you. I don't care. Either way, it was deliberate. So don't use that word, intend. It implies some kind of accident. He's silent for a moment, swallowing. Then he sighs. Fine. It wasn't an accident. But it wasn't supposed to become this. It happened. I step closer, feeling my pulse in my ears. Happened. A car crash happens. A lightning strike happens. Betrayal is a choice, Eric. His gaze flickers with regret, or maybe pity, and that fuels my resentment. You think you know everything about Rachel. But she was lonely, Michael. She felt you were always buried in your job, your leads, your investigations. She thought you weren't seeing her anymore. And I saw her. My voice drops to almost a whisper. You saw her. Yes. And I cared about her, he says, an edge of insistence in his tone. The tension crackles. The unspoken question. Did I stop caring about my own wife? My fists tighten at my sides. Part of me wants to lash out physically. Another part of me just wants him out of my home. He steps back. I can leave if you want me to. But first, I want you to know. I'm sorry. I let out a short laugh. It's bitter, with a hint of that black humor I never used to indulge in. You're sorry. Congratulations on your remorse. He looks away. I sense that if I told him to walk out forever, he'd do it. But something in me wants him to feel a fraction of the humiliation I felt. I want him to see the devastation in my eyes. Because that's all that's left, isn't it? Rachel arrives home an hour later to find us both in the living room. The moment she steps through the door, she freezes. Her eyes flick from me to Eric. I see the blood drain from her face. What's going on? She manages, setting down her handbag. I raise an eyebrow, forcing my voice not to tremble. Eric came by to talk. Her lips part, but no sound comes out. She steadies herself by gripping the back of a chair. For a few seconds, the three of us stand like a bizarre painting. Husband, wife, lover, each uncertain who will break the silence. Then Rachel exhales, glancing at me. Michael, can we talk alone? Eric steps away, but I don't move. I recall the instructions from the lab in my email, the test results that confirm everything. They're burning a hole in my mind. No, we talk right here. All of us. She looks at him, then at me, tears welling. Please, I didn't know he'd come. Eric tries to place a reassuring hand on her shoulder, but she steps back. The shift in her body language is noticeable. She's ashamed, or maybe just afraid. That's when I see it. She's trapped in the consequences of her own choice. I swallow the knot in my throat and address Rachel. I found the test. The one that says the child you thought might be on the way wasn't mine. She gasped softly, her hand flying to her mouth. We'd never fully confirmed her pregnancy. It was more of a suspicion a few months ago. A suspicion that apparently terrified her enough to check behind my back. Eric frowns. Rachel, you told me you weren't sure. You said there was confusion. She whirls on him. I was confused. I didn't know if I was pregnant or what was happening. I panicked. I made a mistake. He tries to speak, but I raise a hand. Stop. I can't do this again. I already know too much. A thick silence wraps around us. Then Rachel sinks into a chair, head bowed. Michael, I'm sorry. I don't know how many times I can say it. I stare at her, feeling the swirl of anger and heartbreak. I catch a glimpse of my own reflection in the mirror above the fireplace. I look older, tired. You planned this, I say quietly. You planned every step of it. She shakes her head. That's not fair. I didn't plan to fall out of love. I didn't plan to feel what I felt. I feel a bitter laugh escape me. The best evening of your life, right? That's what he said. She looks like I've slapped her. Eric shifts uncomfortably. I press on, my voice shaking. I saw that message. It's etched into my mind, Rachel. That night was the best evening of his life, and apparently yours too, or you wouldn't have kept going back for more. She tries to speak, but I hold up a finger. No. Enough. I'm done hearing excuses. My phone buzzes on the coffee table. It's a notification from the lab. Another confirmation. Another dagger. I ignore it. Then, something in me snaps. I step forward, heart hammering, fists clenched. The living room is charged, like the seconds before a brawl. Eric tenses, but I hold back. My voice is low, practically a growl. I loved you, Rachel. I never looked away from you, but somewhere along the line, you drifted. And now we're stuck in this twisted triangulation. I've got boxes of your things ready to ship out if that's what you want. And you. I glare at Eric. You can walk out right now. He nods. I will. But Rachel should decide. She stares at me, tears in her eyes, then at him. And I see a flicker of confusion, or maybe regret, or maybe even longing. The woman I married is tangled in her own regrets. She doesn't speak. That's when I realize something. I can't keep living in this suspended state, waiting for her to make choices. I step away, running a hand through my hair. All right. I say quietly. We're done for tonight. Both of you, just leave me alone. Eric hesitates, then walks out. Rachel shoots me a pleading look, but I turn my back. She follows him, or maybe she goes somewhere else. I don't even check. I collapse onto the couch, my body trembling. The hush in the house is deafening. The only sound is my pulse hammering in my ears. I stare at the folder on the table, reminding me of all the ugly truths I've dug up. I'm not sure if I want to cry, shout, or destroy something. Instead, I just laugh. An empty, hollow laugh. Black humor. Because what else can I do? My entire life is unraveling, and I'm watching it happen like a bystander. I meet with my old friend from the lab the following morning. He hands me an envelope, that final piece of confirmation. He looks concerned. Michael, I've never seen you like this. You sure you're okay? I force a thin smile. I'm fine. Really? He nods, unconvinced, but respects my need for privacy. On my walk back, I feel the cold breeze of downtown Chicago sting my face. I remember the train ticket I bought in a moment of desperation, a one-way trip to the West Coast. I never used it. Instead, I'm here, following this painful path. Because I want resolution. Maybe I want them both to suffer the way I'm suffering. That thought scares me. I never considered myself a vengeful man, but heartbreak twists us into shapes we hardly recognize. I return home. Rachel's waiting in the living room, perched on the couch like a schoolgirl in trouble. She looks up, eyes rimmed red. No makeup, hair disheveled. The face that once filled me with warmth now only reminds me of betrayal. I spoke with Eric, she says softly. My stomach clenches. Of course you did. She winces at my tone, then forces herself to continue. He wants to fix things. He says he's willing to let me go if that's what I want. Let you go, I repeat. Well, that's gracious of him. She exhales shakily. Michael, please. I know you're furious. I try to bury my anger beneath a calm exterior. I place the envelope on the coffee table. I have proof. The child, if there was one, wasn't mine. You and Eric. There's no denying it. She nods, tears rolling down her cheeks. I'm so sorry. I was confused, lonely. I can't defend what I did. My breath catches. I don't want your defense. I want to understand why I wasn't enough. She looks at me, heartbreak plain on her face. You were, at first. But then your investigation swallowed you. Late nights, chasing stories, forgetting birthdays, anniversaries. I bark a short laugh. So that's the reason you ended up in his arms. Because I worked too hard. She shakes her head. It's more complicated than that. I feel a wave of exhaustion. Sure, I say. Everything's complicated. We sit in silence for a minute. Then she reaches for my hand. I pull away. She shivers at my rejection. Michael, she pleads, I still love you. The words sound hollow, poisoned. I draw in a deep breath. Love me, I echo. voice trembling. Yet you gave him the best evening of your life. She bows her head, sobbing softly. I hate that message. It was something he wrote in a moment of passion. I never asked him to say that. I almost laugh again, but there's no joy in it. There's nothing left but a bitter dryness. I wanted to leave, I say. I still do, but I couldn't. She meets my gaze, eyes full of regret. Why didn't you? My voice falls to a whisper, because I needed to know. I needed every detail. I needed to piece together the entire story of your betrayal. She nods, tears still sliding down her face. And then she says something that shakes me. I don't deserve your forgiveness. But if there's any chance at all for us to move forward, I want it. I stare at her, my own emotions roiling. I can't tell what I feel anymore. Betrayal, sadness, a faint longing for the life we had. And overshadowing it all, a grim desire for retribution. Over the following days, I can't bear to look at her without imagining them together. I can't fight the mental image of Eric touching her, whispering in her ear, making her laugh the way she used to laugh with me. I dive deeper into my investigative instincts, combing through phone records, credit card bills, anything I can find. A part of me thinks I'm punishing myself by digging into all these details, but I can't stop. Late one evening, I discover a message chain between them, one I hadn't seen before. It's from a night she told me she was working late. The texts have an undercurrent of desire. Eric mentions a hotel room, a view of the city lights. She responds with playful teasing, describing the color of her lingerie. My heart pounds so hard, I almost can't breathe. I slam the laptop shut and lean back in my chair. Then a wave of black humor washes over me. The difference between me doing investigations professionally and me investigating my own wife is that, in my job, I don't get personally hurt. Here, each line is a blade. I stand, pacing the living room. My phone vibrates. A text from Rachel. Are you coming to bed? I type a brief reply. No, I can't be near her right now. The rage pulses in my veins, clashing with a guttural sadness. I realize my heartbreak is turning into a twisted sense of vindictiveness. I start to consider how to make them both feel what I feel, lost, humiliated, devastated. I confront her with the new texts the next day. She's in the kitchen, preparing coffee, still wearing her robe. The morning sunlight highlights her tear-swollen eyes. I thrust my phone forward, letting her read the messages. She closes her eyes, shoulders slumping. I'm so sorry, she whispers for the 1,000th time. I set my jaw. When did you plan all of this? You said it wasn't planned. But you had a hotel reservation. You arranged to meet him there. That's not an accident. Her hands tremble. I told you, I was confused. I was caught between the comfort of our marriage and the excitement of something new. I let it get out of hand. So you made a choice, I say, my voice flat. And now you want me to pick up the pieces. She nods, tears brimming. I'll do anything to fix this. My laughter is cold, echoing in the small kitchen. Fix it. I don't think you grasp what you've broken. She tries to approach me, but I step back. I know, she says, her voice cracking. I want to try. You and me. Even if it seems impossible. I glare at her, a spark of bitter humor flickering. You ask the impossible, yet here we are. She says nothing, just looks at me with watery eyes, and for a moment I see the ghost of the woman I loved. It's haunting. A week passes in tense silence. We share the same house, but not the same bed. I'm barely eating. She tries to talk, but each conversation devolves into me grilling her for more details or scolding her for betraying me. The dynamic is toxic, but I can't stop. She says she wants me to punish her, to let her atone in some way. But no matter how many tears she sheds, I can't shake the need for justice. Then, one night, I decide to confront Eric again, alone. He's divorced, living in a swanky apartment in the heart of the city. I call him, my tone calm. I tell him I want to meet. He hesitates, but eventually agrees. I arrive at his building, walk through the pristine lobby, and take the elevator up. My reflection in the elevator walls looks distant, as though I've already left a part of myself behind. The ding announces his floor, and my stomach knots. Eric opens the door. He's dressed casually, but I notice the anxious flicker in his eyes. "Come in," he says. I step inside. The apartment is expensive, minimalistic, large windows overlooking Chicago's skyline, high-end furniture, framed photos of him at various conferences, presumably. My mind notes every detail with the same quiet thoroughness I apply to all my investigations. We sit on opposite ends of a stylish gray sofa. He offers me a drink. I decline. "You wanted to see me?" he asks, clasping his hands. I nod, studying him. "I need to know something." "Why, Rachel?" He exhales. "You're asking me to define something that wasn't supposed to happen." I stay silent, letting him stew. He continues, more quietly. "She's smart, charming, beautiful. She was also very lonely. I saw it in her eyes from the first day. I never set out to destroy your marriage, Michael. But I couldn't resist the pull." I lean forward, resting my elbows on my knees. My voice is measured, but it trembles with tension. "Do you love her?" He hesitates, then admits, "I did. Maybe I still do. But I also see how much she's hurting. How much you're hurting." I nod, a bitter acknowledgement. Then I stand, pacing the room, gaze drifting over the night view of the city. The lights glow like stars on the ground, mocking the darkness in my chest. "You ruined my life," I say softly, "and I'm not sure I can just let that slide." He stands as well, maintaining a cautious distance. I never wanted that. And yet here we are. You talk about Rachel being lonely, but what about me? I was so consumed by work that maybe I didn't see the cracks. But I never betrayed her. Never. He lowers his gaze. "I know. You have every right to hate me." I feel a heavy pause. The hush is thick with unfinished thoughts. Then I say, "I'm not here to fight you. But I want you to remember one thing. She's my wife, even now. You took what wasn't yours to take, and I need you to feel that guilt." His voice quivers slightly. I do. I fix him with a stare. Good. Then I leave. I walk out of his pristine apartment into the cold hallway and return to the elevator. My hand shakes as I press the lobby button, adrenaline flooding my system. It's not enough. This confrontation isn't enough to quell my fury. I realize I want a bigger vengeance, something more final. But I'm not sure what that looks like yet. That night, I return home to find Rachel curled up on the couch, wearing my old sweatshirt. She looks up, relief crossing her features. "Where were you?" "With Eric," I state simply. She sits up straight, alarmed. "Oh, is he all right?" I raise an eyebrow. "You're worried about him." She flinches. "No, I wave it off. He's fine." Silence. Then she says, "Michael, I want us to go to counseling. Or at least talk to someone. I'm willing to do anything." I let out a bitter laugh. "Counseling? Sure." She swallows. "I know it sounds inadequate, but maybe we need outside help." I feel the tension in my neck. The truth is, I'm not sure if I even want to heal this rift. A part of me wants to watch her suffer, to watch Eric suffer, the way I've suffered. Yet the other part of me remembers the love we once shared. Those quiet mornings, the small jokes, the mutual dreams. I give a non-committal shrug and walk into the bedroom, shutting the door behind me. The next few weeks pass in a surreal haze. Rachel tries to resume normal life, showing houses, meeting clients. I bury myself in an investigation for my newspaper, hoping the work will distract me. Occasionally, I see Eric's car parked on our street, but I never approach him again. Rachel keeps her distance from him, as far as I know. Yet the tension in our home intensifies. We avoid each other's eyes. We share the space, but not our hearts. One evening, I catch her on the phone in hushed tones. She claims it's her mother, but my instincts question everything now. I can't stop imagining she's still talking to him, perhaps planning another rendezvous. The bitterness festers. Then the quarrel happens. An explosion months in the making. We're both in the living room. She's folding laundry. I'm reviewing notes for an article. The air feels charged, like a storm about to break. She stands, places a pair of jeans on the chair. "Are you ever going to forgive me?" she asks, a tremor in her voice. I look up, eyes cold. "Do you expect me to wave a wand and forget what you did?" She crosses her arms. "No, but it's been weeks of silence and resentment. We can't live like this." I rise, tossing my notes aside. My voice grows sharper. "And whose fault is that?" She flinches. "I know. It's mine. But I want to fix it. You won't let me." My anger surges. "Let you? This was your doing, Rachel. You want me to hold your hand and guide you to absolution." She paces, breath quickening. Her eyes blaze. "I made a mistake, yes, but you're punishing me at every turn. You say you hate what I did, yet you refuse to leave. It's like you're thriving on my guilt." I feel a jolt of truth in her accusation. Maybe I am, but I won't admit it. Instead, I snap. "Don't you dare twist this on me." Her face contorts. "I'm not twisting anything. I'm just—" A wave of stifling emotion halts her words. We stand there, breathing heavily. The living room seems to shrink. Our eyes lock. I can hear my own heartbeat, sense her trembling. Then she breaks down, tears streaming. I watch her sob, but I don't move. I can't. Part of me wants to comfort her, but a bigger part wants her to feel the depth of this betrayal. She sits on the floor, head in her hands. Her shoulders shake. My hands clench at my sides. Suddenly, she looks up, voice raw. "If you're going to leave me, just do it. Stop dragging this out." I let out a derisive snort, the black humor creeping in. "You'd like that, wouldn't you?" She's stunned. "What are you saying?" I glare at her. "I'm saying you don't get the luxury of simply discarding me like a used tissue. If I leave, you can console yourself that you tried to fix things." She stands shakily, eyes flashing with anger now. "This is cruel. You've become someone I don't recognize." I let the words hang, an odd calm settling over me. Maybe because you never really knew me. Or maybe I never knew you. It all comes crashing down the next day. I receive a call from a friend who works at a travel agency. She mentions a reservation for two. Eric Johnson's name is on the file, though it's unclear who the second ticket is for. An upcoming trip to Florida. My friend only calls me because she senses something's off, and she knows I've been investigating. My mind races, imagining that Rachel might be planning to go away with him. I see red. This is it, I tell myself. The final straw. I rush home, find Rachel in the kitchen, and demand, "Are you going on a trip with him?" She looks genuinely shocked. "What are you talking about?" I press forward, voice rising. "Don't lie to me." "A flight to Florida, departing next week." She raises her hands. "I don't know anything about that, Michael. I swear." She looks so bewildered that a small doubt flickers in my mind. Could it be that Eric is acting on his own? But my anger is too strong to let logic in. In a burst of fury, I slam my hand on the table. "This is exactly why I can't forgive you. Every time I feel like we might salvage something, I find more evidence of your betrayal." She cries, "I'm telling you, I'm not going anywhere with him. I haven't spoken to him in days." But I'm past reason. I storm into the bedroom, grab the box of her belongings I'd packed, and drag it out. "Fine. Take these. Get out." Her eyes go wide. "Michael." I said get out. I hiss, my voice raw. She stares at me, lips trembling. Tears slip down her cheeks. I hold my ground, chest heaving. Finally, She picks up her purse and phone, and with one last devastated look, she leaves. The slam of the front door echoes in my ears. I stand there in the aftermath, breathing heavily, feeling an emptiness settle over me. I've driven her out, but the sense of victory is hollow. Days pass. She doesn't return my calls. My anger morphs into a bleak ache. I'm alone in this house we once shared, left only with my bitterness. Then I discover an email from Eric in my inbox. It reads, "Michael, I had no idea you'd hear about the Florida trip. That was for business, alone. Rachel isn't involved. You need to talk to her. Eric." My stomach drops. I realize I may have made a monumental mistake. The scenario in my head, Rachel running away with him, may have been wrong. I bury my face in my hands, letting out a strained laugh. I wanted revenge, and I might have gotten it, but at the cost of my own sanity. A few days later, I receive a call from Rachel's mother in Boston. She's frantic. Rachel is there, apparently emotionally wrecked, refusing to leave her childhood bedroom. Her mother begs me to come, or at least to talk to Rachel. I feel a surge of guilt. Maybe I went too far. I buy a plane ticket, not the train ticket I'd once considered, but an actual flight to Boston. This time, I won't run away from the problem. I'll face it. When I arrive, Rachel's mother greets me with a mixture of relief and reproach. She ushers me upstairs to Rachel's old room. It's a time capsule of her teenage years, posters of bands, a bookshelf full of worn paperbacks. Rachel sits on the edge of the bed, eyes distant. She glances up when she sees me, her expression unreadable. I close the door behind me. Silence stretches between us. Finally, I step forward. "I'm sorry," I say, my voice raw with sincerity. She exhales, tears brimming. "I couldn't stay. You were like a man possessed." I nod. "I was." I settle into an old desk chair. "I thought you and Eric were planning another getaway. I got a tip from a travel agency." I jump to conclusions. A weak smile tugs at her lips, overshadowed by sadness. "That's the problem, Michael. You keep investigating instead of talking." I consider her words. She's right. My entire approach has been about unearthing facts, finding proof, rather than confronting my feelings honestly. I didn't know how else to handle it, I admit. It was easier to play detective than to process the hurt. She looks down at her hands. "I never planned on going with him to Florida. I haven't spoken to him since that night." I believe her, but the knowledge of her affair still hangs between us like a thick fog. "Rachel," I say, "you broke my trust in a way I'm not sure I can mend." Her lips tremble. "I understand. I know I don't deserve a second chance, but all I can do is tell you that it's over with him. It's been over. I didn't know how to fix what I did to us." I think back to the train ticket, the moment I wanted to flee from everything. "Maybe it's unfixable," I whisper, half talking to myself. She folds her arms around herself, as though trying to keep from falling apart. "I came here because I needed space. I needed to escape the constant war at home. But I'm miserable here too. I'm miserable without you." My throat tightens. I've wanted revenge, to make her feel the betrayal I felt. Now she's miserable, and I can't find satisfaction in it. All I feel is an echo of heartbreak. I stand, move closer, kneeling by the bed. She looks at me, tears slipping down her cheeks. I brush one away, my touch careful. "You say you love me," I murmur. I don't know if that word means the same thing anymore. But I do know I still feel something for you. Maybe it's love, or maybe it's just a memory of love. She closes her eyes, tears wetting her lashes. "I'll do whatever it takes, Michael. If you want me to leave forever, I will. If you want me to come back and try again, I will." I let out a shaky breath. I don't have an answer. My heart's torn between wanting to punish you and wanting to heal. She nods. I understand. We sit there for a long time, not speaking. Then she leans her head on my shoulder. I let her, And in that silent moment, we share a fragile sense of peace, overshadowed by the knowledge of everything that's happened. We return to Chicago a week later. We decide to speak with a counselor, a neutral third party. We both need it. It's humiliating, but maybe humility is what's required for us to move forward. I share every ugly thought, every desire for retribution. She owns her betrayal. It's painful, grueling. Yet in that raw honesty, something shifts. One evening, she cooks dinner for us, a simple meal of pasta and salad. We eat in near silence, but there's less tension. Afterward, as we wash dishes side by side, our elbows occasionally brush. For a fleeting moment, I recall how it felt to be close to her in simpler times, but the memory of Eric is never far. Neither is the knowledge of the messages, the hotel, the tests. I can't just erase them. I find myself stepping outside more often, taking long walks around the block, my mind churning. Our neighbors might wonder why I'm pacing, but I don't care. I'm wrestling with a choice. Do I continue to live under the same roof with the woman who betrayed me, or do I finalize a separation? Rachel senses my turmoil. She doesn't push me. She tries to be supportive, but there's a distance that wasn't there before. Then, one afternoon, Eric calls. My blood surges at the sight of his name on my phone. I answer in a clipped tone. He's quiet at first, then says, "I've been offered a consulting job in New York. I'm leaving Chicago next month." I swallow. Relief and anger swirl inside me. "What do you want from me?" I wanted you to know," he says. "Because I'm stepping out of your life, out of Rachel's life. You won't have to worry about seeing me around anymore." A pause. Then I surprise myself by asking, "Why are you telling me this now?" He exhales. "Maybe I needed closure too. I hurt you. I know that. Maybe this is my attempt to make amends in the only way I can, by disappearing." I close my eyes, feeling a strange heaviness lift off my chest. "Then disappear," I say softly. "We'll both be better off." He murmurs a quiet goodbye, and the line goes dead. I stare at the phone. Something in me loosens, as though an invisible chain is snapped. With Eric leaving, a part of this nightmare is exiting as well. But the damage remains. Back at home, I share the news with Rachel. She nods, tears welling up. "Maybe it's for the best," she says. "I never want to see him again." I watch her for a moment. A question forms. Did she truly love him, or was it just a fling? But that question no longer matters. It happened. We're left with the wreckage. We continue counseling. We confront the pain, the anger, the sense of betrayal. She tries to show me that she's changed, that she wants a second chance. I resist, uncertain if I can open my heart to that extent. But each day, I see her small acts of contrition, doing chores she knows I hate, leaving me short notes apologizing for the past, offering to accompany me on errands. They're minor gestures, but they chip away at my walls. Eventually, I reach a turning point. The counselor asks me, "Michael, do you still want to be married to Rachel?" The question lingers. My chest feels tight. After a long silence, I answer, "I'm not sure." But inside, a part of me whispers that I do still care. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here. Time trudges on. Rachel and I share a bed again, tentatively, as though we're strangers who happen to sleep in the same room. Some nights, I lie awake, haunted by images of her with Eric. Other nights, she curls up next to me, and we hold each other, no words exchanged. She never tries to make the first move intimately. I suspect she knows how fragile I am. But one night, after weeks of therapy and painful conversations, I reach for her hand. She looks at me, eyes hopeful yet apprehensive. We don't speak. Slowly, we embrace, letting the closeness replace the distance, at least for that moment. It's not a grand romantic reconciliation. The pain is still there, a thorn under the surface. But in that quiet moment, we find a sliver of comfort. Months pass. Our progress is halting, full of setbacks. We argue, we cry, we nearly separate twice. Yet something keeps holding us together. Maybe the memory of who we were, or the stubborn refusal to let Eric's betrayal define us. In a quiet moment, Rachel says to me, "I don't deserve your forgiveness, Michael. I just hope one day you'll believe I'm truly sorry." I meet her gaze, the ghost of a smile touching my lips. "I believe you," I say softly. And just like that, I sense a corner turning. Maybe it's acceptance, not a total absolution, but a willingness to move forward. Months later, I open a drawer and find the dusty train ticket I never used. I hold it, running my thumb over the date. It's long expired. I laugh at the black humor of it all. My grand plan to vanish, undone by my fixation on vengeance. The cost was high, but perhaps that's the price for real healing. Rachel enters the room, noticing the ticket in my hand. She stands beside me, placing a gentle hand on my shoulder. I glance at her, seeing the worry in her eyes. "You could have left," she says quietly. I nod. I could have, but I stayed. She wraps her arms around me, tentative, as though waiting for me to pull away. I don't. Instead, I embrace her, resting my cheek against her hair. We stand there, breathing in unison, and for the first time in what feels like forever, I sense a genuine flicker of hope. It's not the naive hope from our wedding day, but a scared, hard-earned hope that maybe, just maybe, two broken people can still find their way back to each other. A strangled laugh escapes my throat, merging with the tears in my eyes. Because in all my searching, in all my furious investigating, I realize that revenge doesn't fix what's broken. It only spreads the damage. I wanted them both to suffer, but in the end, I was the one who bore the heaviest cost. Still, I'm here. And she's here. We might never be the same, but perhaps we don't have to be. Maybe we can be something new, something honest, albeit scared. I let the train ticket fall to the floor, expired and forgotten, as I hold her a little tighter. And I finally exhale, letting go of the breath I've been holding since the day I discovered her affair. The tension bleeds from my muscles, leaving only a quiet resolve. If I can find it in me to let go, piece by jagged piece, maybe our story won't end in bitterness after all. For now, that's enough.